A couple weeks ago, you saw how I painted this bus this lovely shade of green, copied from my 1973 International Scout. But on this video, I'm gonna show you what we did with the roof. And by we, I mean me, after we painted this bus green. I'm gonna give you all my tips and tricks for taking a stock school bus roof, prone to leaks, maybe not the flattest thing in the world, you know, with holes and all that stuff, and turn it into something that's gonna keep you dry every season out of the year and be something that is not only repairable down the road, but something that other types of sealant will stick to. That's right, there are some roof coatings that once you apply, it becomes almost impossible to add a vent or change a light down the road. Stay tuned, let me tell you how to do that, how to avoid those pitfalls, give you all my tips and tricks. My name's Chuck Cassidy. Let me show you how to paint a bus roof. And if that doesn't convince you, just leave. Well, before we get much farther in this video, I just want to take a second and say, Chuck Cassidy is brought to you by the Bus Fair. And if you don't know about the Bus Fair, type it in your search browser, thebusfair.com. It's an amazing school bus festival that happens this June in Oak Ridge, Oregon. I'm gonna be there, I'm teaching seminars, I'm hanging out with all of y'all, anybody who buys a ticket. And a lot of other great Skoolie folks are gonna be there too. You don't wanna miss it. Buy the ticket, come hang out. If you can't make it this year, I just dropped it, it's on your radar, so we better see you next year. All right, let's get back to this paint. I mean, is it even a Chuck Cassidy video if we don't sit down and talk about the tools and materials needed? I don't think so. So for this project, I'm actually using a system I haven't used before. I mean, some parts of it I have, but not the entire system. It's made by a company called Dicor, and they are the self-proclaimed RV roofing experts. I mean, they're saying it, and this guy, I mean, you know, he's got a shirt on. So I'm gonna be using the Dicor system, and I'm gonna be following their prescribed methods. So on my bus, it's already got a layer of paint on there, and that's really great. So all I have to do to prep the material is clean it really good, or well, scuff it, and then clean it again. And for cleaning and scuffing, I'm going to be using, this is a gray Scotch-Brite. I've just got some of these laying around. I got gray and I got red, and this one is actually meant to be stuck on the bottom of a typical just random orbital sander. And that's what I'm gonna be using to prep the surface. I'm gonna be trying to get up anything that's sticky, anything like that, get it out of there, scuff it really well, get rid of any oxidized paint layers or clear coat that's on there so that the new primer and paint has something to bite into and adhere. The primer I'm using is Dicor's primer. I don't have the can of it because I already used it and it kind of half exploded on me, but they sell a primer. You really only need the primer if you're going to be applying this over bare metal, aluminum or steel. Because I wasn't applying this over bare metal, the primer was a little bit of an extra step, but I figured it wouldn't hurt, and there were a few places where I had sanded through the paint. So I used, I think it was a quart of that, a small jar. I had actually great coverage on my roof. This is a bus that's about half as big as a full-size 40-foot bus. Once the primer goes down, we're gonna go ahead and tape all of our rivet lines and seams. This company Dicor, you know, they make a roof tape that comes in a box like this, and it's just like a Turnabond roof tape, which is what this is, except the backing, instead of being this PVC plastic membrane that's waterproof, it's like a cloth backing. And the reason they do that is because that cloth backing is meant to absorb this metal roof coating, which is the top coat. I'm gonna talk more about that in a second. But once you get your primer down, you want to cover all of your seams with this tape, and then I go around any openings for vents and things like that with Dicor lap sealant, which is a type of self-leveling caulk, so it smooths out by itself very nicely. I don't have a tube of that left over to share with you, but I'll put a link in the description so you can go buy it. There'll be links for all of this stuff within reason. So you've got your primer, so you've so far braided, you got your primer down, you've got your paint ready cover tape, and now it's time to roll on the paint itself. So this paint here, it is a, you know, it's an RV roof coating, and I think people would say that this is actually elastomeric, but I'm not sure if it is technically. But the big difference here between things like Tropicool and other types which are silicone based, this is acrylic based. This is a very crucial distinction that I can't emphasize enough. This is going to dry to something that is really hard, but slightly flexible, and it's like a membrane, okay? And it's tough, like the rubber on a tire. If you use something like a silicone-based coating by Henry's or Tropicool, what you end up with something is like, it's very springy and spongy like rubber. And because it's silicone-based, nothing sticks to silicone. Paint doesn't stick to silicone. I mean, nothing does, okay? And that will become a big problem for you if you ever need to replace a vent fan or a clearance light or something and you want to seal against the roof of your bus. Well, if you used something that's silicone-based, you're going to have a really hard time sealing against that. Now, those companies do sell sealant that is supposed to be compatible with their roofs, and I've had, reasonable success with that. But that's a pain in the butt because you're limited to that kind of sealant and that kind of sealant only. And the other thing I've noticed is that that type of roof coating does an incredible job of attracting dust and dirt on it, so it always looks dirty. And that would just, and I speak from experience because I did this on the bus that I lived in for 5.5 years. The roof was always kind of dingy, and thank goodness I never had to replace anything up there. But it was easy to see, like once you cut this like rubbery layer, there's no healing, there's no going back at that point. So I've chosen this from Dicor, and it is their acrylic-based RV roof membrane system. You want to do a minimum of 2 coats of this, and you want to apply it at 90-degree angles. So you're going to use a roller. I've got a 6-inch roller here that I'm using. Oh look, it's some of my Scotch-Brite pads. 6-inch or a 4-inch roller. Honestly, I think you can go with a pretty thick nap because this stuff is pretty thick. It's like Elmer's glue coming out. So this is a foam roller here that I used, but I would go with a thicker nap roller, maybe like a 1/4 inch or a 3/8 inch nap roller, and really apply it liberally in one direction, 1 coat, so maybe all within the length of the bus, and then the next coat you want to go 90 degrees to that across the width of the bus, minimum 2 times, and that's going to give you the coating. So you've got the paint, which itself is a waterproof membrane, and you've got a good coverage with that. Underneath the paint, you've got your tape, and you've also got your Dicor lap sealant, and so your roof should be looking really good. This is another product I just want to briefly touch on, and this is called Eternabond. It is a type of roof tape, just like this tape, that is essentially about a 1/16 inch, flat sheet of butyl rubber that has a PVC, membrane on the top of it. You peel the backing off this and you stick it down, and this is honestly, it is an incredible hack for stopping leaks on your roof because nothing's getting past this. And butyl rubber is an amazing sealant, and you couple that with PVC, and it comes in various widths. This is, I think, 4-inch. Where are we at? Yeah, 4-inch by 50 feet. You can tape around all kinds of things, and as long as you get in there with a roller and really get it flush, you can apply this after you've painted. You can apply this anytime, and it's going to almost always work for you. Pretty amazing stuff. The trade-off is it's very, very bad if you have to remove it because it's sticky and it sticks to everything. But that's what makes it so good. It's Eternabond, for crying out loud. Oh, compressor just turned on. All right, so up here on the roof, we've got our solar entry gland and the roof vent installed. Everything's good. We've got our patches in. We're all sealed up. And I've just got my random orbital sander here, and we're gonna go and just quickly scuff all of this roof surface with our Scotch-Brite pad. Just rough it up so that our primer is going to get good adhesion. Okay, so we've got everything scuffed up here. You can see down the side between the gloss and where it dulls out, that's the line that I followed with the Scotch-Brite pad. Next up, I'm gonna just go by hand with a pad and get around all the rivets and clean up the detail work. And we're gonna go outside and power wash this. Okay, so we've really cleaned up pretty nicely over here. Next step is gonna be, I'm just gonna go through and make sure we're all dry, and then mask, tape my edges. I'm gonna hit it with this primer. I'm not sure that I'm gonna have enough because of it exploding. So we'll start with the bare metal stuff first, the patches, and we'll see where it takes us. And then as soon as that's dry, I'm gonna go in and start doing my rounds of the lap sealant so that hopefully first thing tomorrow morning, we are good to tape our seams and get our coats of paint down. I'd love to have the paint done up here by about midway through the day tomorrow because I still got to install these solar racks. You know, the list is long. Wow, it's a little toasty up there because I got the heaters going, but the primer's down, I'm sure you saw. So the next step for me, I was gonna maybe do it tomorrow, but I think I'm actually gonna try to get it down tonight. I'm gonna get up there with that Dicor lap sealant, and I'm just gonna go around all my vent fans, my one vent fan, my patches, and the feet of all of those solar brackets. I don't have the best perch for a camera for this part, but I'll show you tomorrow morning. I'll show you exactly how it all panned out. It's gonna look great. All right, well, we're back. It's day number 2 of our roof painting extravaganza, and I just want to show you what we're working with now. You can see the way that Dicor, it's self-leveling. You know what I'm talking about, just leveled out. So our next move is going to be to take this seam tape, and it's got this kind of like, it's almost a fabric backing, I don't know. But this is our good friend butyl rubber on the back. You peel this off, and we're gonna run this tape down this entire rib, just on each side, because I hate this design, and I wanna basically treat this like flashing tape and make sure that we never have that issue. I'm also gonna make like a little, it's almost gonna be like a tent over each one of these with tape, and I'll tape this very front, or this back seam here, and if I have enough, I might even tape these ones, but definitely the very back and then the very front seam up there. It's total overkill, but we're not messing around. Okay, we've reached that point where we are ready for paint. That took a little longer than I thought. So I've got my seam tape up and down these rub rails here, one continuous piece, and then across the arch here, I also doubled up around the vent fan, and then hit this arch, basically anywhere between these stupid rails where I suspect water might pool. This is high enough that I don't think it'll be an issue, so I didn't tape that. And then I went in and made these sweet little tortellini pockets around the solar rack feet. That's just basically a water diverter. So it's like 3 layers of protection. There's gonna be the membrane paint on top, then there's gonna be that diverter, and then underneath that we have the lap sealant, and then we have the butyl tape. So at least everywhere is dependent upon, I think I've got two attempts at protecting, from leaks. Last thing to do now is paint. And what's great is I started with a roof that didn't have any leaks. So this feels ridiculous, but I don't want to do this again, ever. Oh, look, I did another one of those little rain gutter diverters there over that as well. So I'm gonna go grab the paint and get started painting. Whoop, whoop. Couldn't be more happy with these results. Time to demask everyone's favorite part. And I'll give you one last peek at the finished product because I just can't help myself. And we've got our solar racking rails reinstalled. That nice clean mast edge along the front there. Super happy with this paint job, and we got these set up just the way we want them so we can lay our panels flat across there. And look at that. We wasted no time getting solar panels on that roof. I gotta be honest, that was my whole motivation for getting this job done. But despite being rushed, I think it turned out great. And that Dicor roof sealant, well, I'm a big fan, and I'm not sponsored. That's just, you know, I had an inkling, picked it out, it looks good. Remember, you just wanna stay away from those silicone-based roof sealants. They're just gonna be a bummer. My name's Chuck Cassidy, thanks for watching us this week. Tune in next week because the good times keep rolling. We gotta get this bus done so I can hit the road. See you there. That was okay.